Hi there and welcome to the channel. I'm Slate and this is a Watch Your Realms video. Today I'm going to go over my teams for this rotation of Immortal Codex because we have the brand new boss, which is the Furious Torrent, and this is the Piercer boss. So yeah, I thought I would just take you along for the show. Anyway, I really want to get to SS+, but I am stuck on SS, so I'm going to just have a look at the different gears that other people have done to see if there are stats. This is something I would recommend you do, particularly if you're trying to push to the next tier level, is just have a look and see what the top guys and gals are doing to see whether, certain characters perform better with attack or with crit damage. So yeah, I then went away and geared my heroes, and I will say I tried every single possible combination of heroes. I tried putting in Theowen, I tried putting in Brienne, I tried Maul, I tried different placements, I tried Hatsit, I tried the Eloin strat, and yeah, this is many hours later, and this is the highest that I managed to do. So anyway, we put Nyx forward, Dolores next to her, then is Razak, in the top right is Silas, and in the top left is Hatsit. I will say that once the boss rush starts, I auto the fight. One thing I will say that I do keep an eye on though is the Dolores ult, because it's a lot shorter than Nyx and Razak. No, obviously Razak is just burst damage, but what I'm trying to say and failing miserably is that I don't want Dolores' ult to be up when at least Nyx is not ulting. So whilst I do auto the fight, I am just gonna keep an eye on that. So yeah, that's basically the fight. I will say it's quite an interesting mechanic with this boss in the fact that you need to take out the tridents in order to do damage to the boss. It's sort of very similar to the other boss in this rotation, which is the Conqueror, where you do damage based on taking out the minions that come forward, but the damage is pretty much exclusively based on these tridents. And unfortunately, the fishies block your access to the tridents. So yeah, I do have an epic only version up on my channel to help you if you're just getting started with this boss. It is a difficult boss. To be fair, all the Immortal Codex bosses are difficult. It is late to endgame content, and it's content that I absolutely thoroughly enjoy. So I I really love it when they release a new boss like this. What I love even more as well is the fact that my girl Nyx, who was my first ever legendary, is shining in content. I will say she absolutely carried me through my progression and different things, because she is great, but she's not the best AoE marksman in the game. That's basically Hatsit up there in the corner. But yeah, so it's really nice to see her getting some love and getting some attention. I think that's one thing that I find really interesting about this game overall, is the fact that heroes that you are like, oh, I'm not so sure if they've got any use or if they're any good, suddenly new content is released and they are the best character for it. So yeah, anyway, back to this fight. As you can see here, I am really struggling with the fishies now. I'm really close to that SS+, which is at the 15 or 1.5 million, is that right? Yeah, 1.5 million. But I can't get there, so I gave up after this run, and I will just have a breather. I may give it another go later on this week, but honestly I think I need to fully skill up my Razak, as well as hopefully get the Nyx exclusive artifact in order to try and push that SS+. So I'm happy with the score. It still puts me in the top 1%. And yeah, for a first try with this brand new boss, I am pretty happy about where I'm at. Anyway, we are going to move on to my next team, which is for the Conqueror boss. I again have no idea why I cannot get my Cerberus to work the way that some of the top guys seem to be putting out insane damage with him. So I'm not entirely sure. I think it's because my lunacy visor isn't maxed out at 25. He just can't seem to survive long enough. So what I worked out I had to do was not place him until the boss rush starts. So yeah, I also noticed that the top teens are predominantly Garn based. They are mainly chaotic with Ardea and Uridin and Constance. I think the extra healing from Constance might help, or it might be the inspiration that she does that helps Cerberus out. But either way, this is an improvement on my team this time, as well as, now that we've hit the boss rush stage, I am going to put down Cerberus behind Captain Reeve as soon as the minions start to come past him, so that Cerberus can start doing the healing. And then Vladof is in an invigoration set to then put that onto Cerberus so that he gets even more of a damage boost. I will say Valkyra is fantastic for this fight, Arrogance is fantastic for this fight, and my guy Cyrus is really impressing me. I put him in a Soulbond Arcana set for this round, and I was really surprised at how much damage he is putting out. He is quite surprising, actually. I picked him up in December, I think. It was whenever he was released. I got lucky and managed to get him. He was my first ever Ancient exclusive Lord, or should I say first ever Lord I got from Ancients. So very happy to have got him, but he's really impressed me the more content that's come out. So hopefully, you guys can pick him up, but unfortunately he is an Ancient exclusive, so that does make it a little bit difficult. But anyway, as you can see, my Cerberus is now really starting to struggle, unfortunately, which he just dies. And this is pretty much it. This is the end of my run. I do manage to get SS, so at least that's something. But yeah, I have got to figure out what's going on with my Cerberus. So maybe one day I will fix it. If you know what's going on, please let me know in the comments below. That would really help for the next time I have to do this. But it's still an improvement on what I'd previously done, and I think that gets me to the top 4% with this, so I'm still quite happy with that improvement. Very quickly, these are the damage numbers that I was talking about, so yeah. Anyway, moving on to the final boss, which is the Styx boss. This was the first time I did it, and I could not work out what was going on. Now, it was an improvement since the last time, but I just couldn't understand why, especially as I have some of probably the best heroes for this boss with Praetus, Satram, Silas. So I couldn't work out what was going on, and then I noticed that Silas was doing absolutely no damage, and guess what? I forgot to gear him. So this I left in because I wanted to just do a quick PSA to make sure that your heroes are geared. It does actually make a difference. Anyway, back to the run that I ended up, saying, yep, happy with this. And I will say I am so pleased that they reworked the Styx boss, because originally it was just too difficult to take down his shield. So everyone was using Sadie in order to survive the shield. Sorry, not the post-shield smackdown. But I didn't have Sadie, so for a long time, whenever this boss came up, I really struggled to do any kind of, points and ranking. So I'm very pleased that they put it up. One thing I will say that I noticed whilst doing this, which is something that you might want to do in your runs as well, if you aren't doing this already, is as soon as that Soul Keep shield icon pops up is when I pop Setram. He is in his exclusive artifact. So that plus the delay that he has to trigger his ultimate, I find that it works out best if you pop him as soon as you see that Soul Keeper shield icon, and then I auto cast as soon as the shield pops up so that everyone else simultaneously releases their ultimates, and this way everyone is getting the boss, and then they are also all doing the damage. I will say that for whatever reason, Satcham sometimes goes a little bit out of whack. So in this one, I decided not to use his ultimate so that I could make sure that I have it for the later shields. So that is something I would just say to be aware of. Just you really need to get Satcham to pop as soon as that shield. What's it called? Yeah, shield goes up. I also really like Elowen for this because it means that I can use that little wood elf to keep Setram alive. Another option here for her would be Hollow, because again, you want that rage regen. So, but obviously the top teams are using Leia. Unsurprising, because she is one of the best rage regen heroes out there. Anyway, I was very happy because I was now hitting S and S+, which I never thought I would see the day, but like I said, I was very pleased that they reworked this boss. I'm also quite happy with the fact that I managed to use 2 exclusive heroes, so Lust and Falcia. I really need to learn how to pronounce heroes in this game, so apologies for the fact that I probably butcher all of the names. But it's really nice to use those 2 characters because they don't really get much love in a lot of end game content. And I will say, when you're doing this, don't worry about damage if you're starting out. Just try and get one hero like Silas to do your damage and the rest of them to be as fast as possible to take down that shield. And yeah, that was my SS Plus, which I was really happy about. And I think that got me to the top 2%. So that means that this Codex round I have managed to do top 4, top 2 and top 1, which I am very happy about. And then we're going to move to the Redeem shop, and I will say the best things in the shop are the gear recast, and then you can get your ancients, and then you can get everything else, but do not sleep on the gear recasting tools. Anyway, that is my run. I hope it's been of some interest and, been a bit more chatty this time because it's a lot of auto. Anyway, I wish you luck with your Immortal Codex. I will see you in the next video. Take care and bye for now.